Yes, it's AFEX time now. Let's do a little bit of market summary before we delve into the conversation for the day. In the last trading week, which ended on the 24th of April, we did see strong performances across key indicators, according to the data from AFEX. Turnover increased by 69.23%. That's going from 5.72 billion naira to 9.68 billion naira. We also saw an increase of 47.36% in the volume of contracts traded. We witnessed an increase in the number of deals by 19.15%, closing at 112. That's for the number of deals. The AFEX commodity index rose by 1.85%, closing the week at 480.15 index point. The AFEX exports index performed positively also, rising to 225.82 points. That went from 220.99 points. Now, the volume of contracts traded, we saw increased volume across maize, soybean, sesame, and sorghum. Let's go to the price now, see how the commodities did. Price across export commodities there. You have sorghum, an increase of 14.31% at 34 naira 96 kobo increase to close at 279 naira. And then we also have ginger, also had an increase 13.74%. That's 111 naira 60 kobo to close at 923 naira 82 kobo. Let's look at others now. Soybeans is there, also in the green, 2.22%. That's 7 naira 35 kobo to close at 338 naira 77 kobo. Looking at others, maize there, which also tops in the contracts, volume of contracts here. It is increased by 7.13%. That's 16 naira 25 kobo to close at 244 naira 18 kobo. Sesame also looking good, 1.04%. That's translates to 12 naira 80 kobo, and it closed at 1,247 naira 57 kobo. Cashew nut, however, is on the flip side. It lost marginally, 0.01%. That's about 4 kobo to close at 610 naira 62 kobo. Also in that red zone, paddy rice down almost 0.5%. That's 1 naira 38 kobo to close at 330 naira 13 kobo. The close of trade on the 24th of April. Cocoa is also in the red, down 0.10%. That's 1 naira 89 kobo to close at 1,882 naira 32 kobo for cocoa. Wheat, however, is unchanged in spite of what is happening in Ukraine and Russia. Unchanged on the 24th of April, closed at 380 naira for a kilogram. All these prices are in kilograms. And always remember, according to AFEX, you can get more information from their social media. All right, so AFEX is not over yet. We have joining us here in the studio in Lagos, Deji Adeniyi. He's a commercial manager with AFEX, and they have growing concerns within the global agriculture space and how to facilitate some of that. That's what Mr. Adeniyi is here to speak about. Good morning. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good morning.
For joining us.
Good to be here.
Good. So AFEX has its eyes on a global space now. Talking about stakeholders who contribute largely to food production are often excluded in policy and innovation. In an ideal situation, looking through the eyes of AFEX now, what does agricultural inclusivity look like? We're talking about financial inclusion, and this is agricultural inclusion.
So in terms of agricultural inclusion and sustainability, what it means is that all the stakeholders, and when I'm saying stakeholders, I'm saying the farmers, the processors, aggregators. I'm also talking about governments themselves and even the consumers of all agricultural produce, benefiting in the agricultural resources, irrespective of their status, irrespective of their socio-economic capacity, even gender. And there is shared prosperity, shared value. And this system, what it entails is that it ensures that at every value chain in the agricultural system, you can come in, bring your value, add your value, and also gain value. And that's the essence of inclusivity in the agricultural sector.
But some people think it will cost profitability.
Interesting question there. Well, true, there is a cost to building a sustainable system and inclusivity, but also some of the hindrances as regards agricultural sector is the small-scale farmers. And we know that these farmers are still limited in terms of their access to land, access to quality inputs, and access to skills, technology, and of course, access to market. But it has also been proven that for every time we solve for all of those hindrances, there have been increase in terms of their productivity and output, which interestingly means profit. So for all of the time that we actually solve the problems that is acute to exclusions of the small-scale farm, profit is gained. So I would disagree that it comes at a cost to profitability. But when there is an intentional investment in those sectors, which is one of the things at AFEX that we do, is that we have helped farmers increase in terms of their profitability.
So what's the AFEX model for this? Maybe it depends on the model that is being used. So
at AFEX, our aim is to help Nigeria feed itself and the continent, and we do this by ensuring that food production is efficient. And we also work effectively with all of these small-scale farmers. Within the network of AFEX, we have about 80,000 network of small-scale farmers that work with us, and they have access to our infrastructures and solutions. In terms of infrastructures, it's interesting to know that at AFEX we have over 150 warehouses across the 23 states in Nigeria with a holding capacity of about 300,000 metric tons. At the moment, there are call for agri-service providers. These agri-service providers are the ones that will work with our farmers, link them with finance, inputs, crop protective services, and fertilizers. And at the end, the target is that it helps the farmers increase their production. With that increase, they bring their produce into our warehouse and be able to sell on the exchange. Because at AFEX, we issue electronic warehouse receipts. And with those receipts, their commodities become tradable instruments on the exchange, thereby giving them access to market. And on the other hand, because market is one of the challenges for AFEX, through the exchange, our trading platform, COMEX, processors are also guaranteed the volume because they are the main consumers or utilizing these commodities that the farmers are producing. So end to end, as much as we're optimizing for the farmers, we're also optimizing for the processors. And that brings in the inclusivity that we're talking about today.
Where is the government and, other private sectors in this? I'm sure AFEX cannot do this alone.
Definitely, definitely. The key word is collaboration. Collaboration across board, not just with the government and with every other institutions within the agricultural space, financial institution also. And why this is important is that the role of the government, I would say, is that they need to look at how they can develop an indicator to track the progress that we have now in this ecosystem that we are trying to build. Interestingly, recently, the Federal Ministry of Budget and Planning, alongside with Ministry of Agric and Ministry of Environment, has set up a steering committee to focus on how there can be an actual food system in Nigeria. And those are kind of the policies that they need to work on, because at the end of the day, policymakers can now make informed decisions based on data that they can get from companies like AFEX and other institutions, and they know which of the sectors to drive their resources.
Yeah, well, we do hope that beyond the making of the policy, we would see the implementation of it.
Thank you very much.
And we trust AFEX to be at the fore of that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Adenuga Adeni, Commercial Manager with AFEX.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to be here again.
Thank you. We'll take a breather now. When we come back, we head to London, and then we have the markets. All the markets still waiting.